Welcome to another episode of HeyJohn Solar. And today we're going to discuss how to determine what size solar system you need. So, not a trivial thing, but really not as complicated as some people make it. Here is our daily electric usage. If you notice on the weekends when we're not driving the EV very much, the usage goes way down. During the week, the usage is up higher. Without the EV, you can see we use about 30 kilowatt hours per day, if you look here, when we're not really charging the EV. On days where we're charging the EV, it can go up to 90, past a little 90 even, maybe to 100. I would say, looking at this graph, if we average in the days with and without, we're probably right around 60 kilowatt hours of usage per day with the truck included in that average. Going over how I calculated my electrical needs for my new solar system that I was planning. And as I have said before, the driving factor for getting this solar system was I had purchased a brand new Silverado EV LT. And after owning this Silverado ET now for a number of months, I can say with absolute certainty that I get 1.9 miles per kilowatt hour. I've got over 8,000 miles on the car, and that is what the average is over those 8,000 miles. Now, during a weekday, I normally put on about 80 miles a day. So I have a pretty long commute. And so that means on a daily basis, if I get my cursor down here, we need 42 kilowatt hours per day just to feed the truck. Now, from earlier, when we looked at my electrical needs, it was pretty obvious that when I'm not using the truck, I need about 30 kilowatt hours per day just for my normal household. So, what I've done is I've upped that just a little bit to 35 kilowatts used for a non work day. And for a work day, we take the 42 and the 35 and we get 77 kilowatt hours per work day, as it says here. Just for information purposes, that puts us about 1,892 on a monthly basis. And you can use that to go back and compare your monthly usage. Look at your electrical bill, whether it's PG&E or some other vendor, and see. They usually will tell you what your monthly is right on the bill, and you can kind of see where you're at. So with these numbers in mind, we'll continue down here. Where I live at, and you can find this on numerous different charts and websites, I have an average solar hour per day of 5 hours. Now, in some places it will be less, and in some places it'll be a little bit more. But at my location, multiple sites say 5 hours per day. The panel size that I'm using is 425 watts. And with that, your panel, with those two pieces of information, that means that I will be making 1.59 kilowatt hours per day per panel. So with that, then we can kind of determine how many panels we're going to need. Now, as far as power need, I broke it up into two. Most people would only have one column here. I did my minimum on the weekends and my maximum on the work days, the 77. And as you can see now, I either need 22 panels for my minimum. So for those of you that don't have an electric car, don't overbuild your system. 22 panels in my case would be more than enough. But to meet the needs of my Silverado EV LT truck, I need 48 panels. So with that in mind, I chose to kind of go for a happy medium of 40 panels. 40 panels on an average daily will get me 64 kilowatt hours. So that if we go back and look at the chart, we'll see that 60 kind of is the overall average. Certainly on some days we're going to poke above that. My hope, and we'll find out together as we build this system, is that the batteries hopefully will kind of help cover some of those peaks. And then there'll simply be some times where I will have to draw power off the grid, and I am building a grid-tied system specifically for that reason, not to try to sell back, because PG&E in California, it's no longer really worth designing a system to do that. So with that in mind, we're going to build a 40 panel system, and that should give us this. I did put down here that I'm going to have 4 batteries that are at 14.6 kilowatt hours. So that gives me storage of 58. But obviously you've got to make more electricity than you're using during a day to even store that electricity in batteries. If you have questions about any of these calculations that are used, and by the way, if you're not used to spreadsheets, maybe I could do it with a mouse. Maybe that would be better. Like, for instance, this calculation here is right up here in the spreadsheet. So you can kind of see where I got the calculations, or where the different numbers came from, to see how many panels we need. So we're going to go with a 40 panel system, and hopefully it will make 64 kilowatt hours. It's all about the averages when you're trying to figure out your solar system. Well, hopefully this quick little demonstration of a spreadsheet and how to figure out your how many panels to put in your system is helpful. And we'll do more quick little things like this in the future. If you've got any questions in regards to the calculations that I showed, that I used, if you see something wrong, let me know. But also if you have questions about how did I come up with a number, where did I get a number, the calculations were basically all derived from information that's freely out there on the internet. I just kind of pulled it all together in a spreadsheet to try to make it a little bit easier for folks to be able to use. And hopefully that's helpful. If these sorts of videos are helpful to you and you'd like to continue to watch my progress with my solar system, please subscribe. That way you'll get notified when the next video comes out. I know this one's been a little long in coming. I've just been really busy on a lot of fronts lately, but I thought I'd take a few minutes today and put this real quick thing together to at least get something else out there. And we have a number of other videos planned, all dealing with putting this solar system together, in hopes that others can learn from my numerous mistakes, if nothing else. Anyhow, have a great day. Talk to you later.